We moved to Seattle in the spring. A new city, a fresh start. We were young, barely 23, our love still new and exciting. He was my rock, my confidant. I thought he was the one. We explored Pike Place Market hand in hand. We shared coffees, laughter echoing through the bustling crowds. He made me feel safe, loved. I clung to that feeling, a beacon in the unknown. He was my world, my everything. The thought of a future without him, unbearable. I was sure he felt it too, this bond, this unspoken promise. Little did I know fate had other plans, a cruel twist waiting in the wings. It was a crisp autumn evening. The Space Needle glittered in the distance. He got down on one knee, a ring box in his hand. My heart soared. This was it, our forever. Yes, I whispered, tears blurring my vision. He slipped the ring on my finger, a symbol of our love, our commitment. Then the phone rang. His smile faltered as he answered. The joy drained from his face, replaced by a cold dread. He hung up, his voice shaking. "It's my father," he said, his eyes filled with tears. "He's gone." My world crumbled. Months passed, a blur of grief and solace. He retreated into himself, the pain too raw. I watched him, my heart aching. I wanted to fix it, to heal him, but the distance grew. Then, one rainy afternoon, my phone rang. It was him. His voice was soft, hesitant. "I need you," he whispered. "Can you come home?" I didn't hesitate. I booked the first flight back, my heart pounding with a mixture of fear and hope. That night, we held each other close, finding comfort in the familiar warmth. Maybe, just maybe, we could find our way back to each other. We rebuilt our lives piece by piece. The pain never fully vanished, but it softened. We talked about the future, about starting a family. We even set a date for the wedding. Hope flickered, a fragile flame in the darkness. We were going to make it, I could feel it. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. One evening, he came home, his face pale, his eyes filled with a familiar dread. "I can't do this," he choked out. "I'm not who you think I am." Before I could ask what he meant, he was gone. My dreams shattered, leaving me lost and alone. Years passed. I moved on, built a life for myself. The pain faded, replaced by a dull ache, a scar on my soul. I tried to forget, to erase him from my memory. Then, one day, I saw him. Across the crowded street, our eyes met. I froze, my breath catching in my throat. Time seemed to stand still. He was older, his face etched with lines I didn't recognize. But his eyes, those familiar eyes, still held a flicker of the love we once shared. Hesitantly, we approached each other, the years melting away. "It's been a long time," he said, his voice husky with emotion. We found a quiet cafe, seeking refuge from the ghosts of our past. The air crackled with unspoken words, years of heartache and regret. "I'm sorry," he whispered, his gaze fixed on his hands, "for everything." I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but all I could manage was a shaky nod. He told me about his father's gambling debts, the pressure to protect his family, about the choices he made, the lies he told. "I never meant to hurt you," he said, his voice breaking, "but I was so lost, so afraid." His words washed over me, a torrent of guilt and pain. All those years, I blamed myself, thought I wasn't enough. Now, here he was, revealing the truth, tearing down the walls I had so carefully erected. Part of me wanted to hate him, to unleash years of pent-up anger. But as I looked at him, I saw the remorse in his eyes, the deep regret that mirrored my own. The anger drained away, leaving me hollow and empty. We sat in silence, the weight of unspoken words hanging heavy between us. The past couldn't be rewritten, but maybe, just maybe, we could find a sliver of peace in the wreckage. "There's something I need to tell you," I said, my voice barely a whisper. He looked up, a flicker of hope in his eyes. I was pregnant. The words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken meaning. His eyes widened, a mixture of joy and disbelief flooding his features. "We were going to have a baby?" he asked, his voice thick with emotion. "Yes," I whispered, my throat constricting. "But I lost it. It was a miscarriage. Shortly after you left. A lie, a cruel, selfish lie." But as I watched his face crumble, saw the pain and guilt etched on every feature, I couldn't bring myself to take it back. He reached for my hand, his touch hesitant, full of sorrow. "I'm so sorry," he murmured, his voice choked with tears. "I never knew. I would have..." He didn't finish the sentence, but I knew what he meant. He would have come back. He would have been there for me. The thought, once a source of comfort, now twisted like a knife in my gut. We left the cafe, our goodbye a tangle of unspoken emotions. As I watched him walk away, I felt a strange sense of closure. Not the healing kind, but a twisted, bittersweet version. The truth, it seemed, was too painful for both of us. He would carry the weight of his decisions, and I the burden of my lie. I never saw him again, but his memory, our shared past, continued to haunt me. The lie, once a shield, became a prison of my own making. It was a constant reminder of what I had lost, of the future we could have had. And the baby, the one that never was, became a symbol of my deceit. I often wondered if telling the truth would have brought me peace, if confessing my lie would have eased the ache in my heart. But the fear remained, a constant whisper in the back of my mind. The fear of his judgment, of shattering the fragile closure we had found. Years later, the memory of that day in the cafe continues to linger. The love, the loss, the lies, all woven into the tapestry of my past. I learned that sometimes, even in the face of truth, silence can be a powerful force. It can protect, but it can also destroy. And as I move forward, I am left with the lingering echo of what might have been. A reminder that love and loss are often intertwined, and that sometimes the truth can be the hardest thing to face.